video, you're gonna find out exactly how to get this amazing look. If you want all the details, make sure you watch into the end. But first, let's get some things out of the way. Hello, girlies and gents, and welcome to my channel. I am Girl Beats World, and if this is your first time here, I am so happy to have you. This channel is about all things beauty, from makeup tutorials, to product reviews, to full-on holiday glam like I'm about to present to you today. I'm gonna give you this date night vibe. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. So starting us off, I am using my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I'm using this primer because it is a matte primer. This is going to be a very matted look, which you'll hear me refer to quite often. And what does that mean? What does matted mean? Matted is when you see that smooth, baby finish look in your skin. When you see foundation and it looks nice and smooth, almost airbrush. That's what a matte look is. Now, when you see a look that is a little bit more luminous, that's that dewy, kind of looks like they're just like glowing type of look. So that's the difference between matte and luminous. Now I'm using my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Longwear foundation. This is a hydrating foundation, so like I said, it's more luminous, but with the Tatcha Silk Base Canvas and some of the powders that we're going to use, it's gonna give us the perfect balance. If you have a more matte foundation already, go ahead and use that. But if your skin tends to be drier, I would recommend to go ahead and use your illuminating foundation because the powder will help clear that all up for you. Next, we're using my Juvia's Place foundation brush, and we're just going to use small circles. I saw on IG that pressing in your foundation gives you more of that soft blended look than actually using circles or swiping. So I'm gonna give it a chance, and I'm gonna press that right on in. Oh, look at that. It's so smooth and beautiful. I did like the pressing in motion more than I liked the circular motion that I normally do. So kudos to whatever video I saw that on. I'm now using my L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. This is a lot lighter than what I normally go for on my concealers, and that's okay. I want that for this look. I want to look really bright under the eyes. So instead of doing like my full swoop, something else that I've realized, a new trend for makeup application, I'm going to put a little bit up here, and we're gonna go down and add an angle and really angle that up. What that's going to do is truly, you can already see, define the cheekbones and really lift the face. So you just put a little bit from the inner corner of your eye down and then upward from this side to truly lift the face. So a little facelift trick here without having to go to the doctor, if you know what I mean. Now that we've applied that, I'm just using my concealer brush from Sigma Beauty, and I'm going to press that all the way through and really blend this out. You want this to be blended and nice and bright. So if you have a concealer that's closer to your skin tone, it's okay, but you wanna go a little brighter with this look, and you'll see why at the end. This is a full coverage drugstore concealer. So it's affordable. It's been all over my Instagram. So you definitely wanna give it a chance. Really take your time with this. If you have a smaller concealer brush like this, that can help you blend that out from under the eye. Now that we've gotten the inner part of the T-zone, we're now going to do the nose and the forehead. And I also have like a little mark there, so I'm gonna just blend that in. I should have put a little concealer on beforehand. Now I've been playing with this like concealer before the foundation, and I haven't found the wave that works for me quite yet, but I'm gonna keep playing with it and I'll definitely let you guys know when I do. Okay, so I know this is really light and really bright, but trust me, there is a method to my madness. And I think I could just use a little help, so I'm gonna use a bigger concealer brush just to make sure it's all blended. This is gonna be the same brush that I use for my powder, so it's safe to go ahead and use it now and later because it's gonna all be the same color. Okay, now that everything's nice and blended out, we're going to use our e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. This is also another drugstore brand, so this look is incredibly affordable so far. And you can just apply this all the way up to the brow. I like to make sure it connects. And then you want to contour the nose. And I've been seeing everyone do like a little T. So we'll try out the little T. I really want this to come out nice and chiseled. So I'm going to do here. And then we're gonna warm the face and the forehead. And that's why I went with this one, because this gives me just like the perfect finish on my forehead and on my cheeks. Using my contour brush from Sigma Beauty, I'm gonna press this in an upward motion and then downward to kind of sculpt my face. Not wanting to disrupt that concealer that I already have. Then I'm going to do the same for my forehead. I'm letting y'all all into my edges right now. This is truly Trust Circle. And then I'm gonna sculpt as well. And then, just like I did before, I'm gonna buff this out using a larger concealer brush and what I use for my powder. And I'm going to just make sure this is all blended in beautifully so I can give it that nice warm finish all over my face. And now on my nose, we're going to just very gently blend all of this in. I think I went a little too heavy on my nose, but we can clean it up in a second. Connect that to the brow so it can look nice and elongated. Then we want to do it on the other side. Do it across the nose where that was. And you can use your finger. Ooh, that gives me a nice little button nose. Oh, okay, I like that. Okay. Just going back in with my concealer brush because it got a little dark over here. And underneath the eye, we're gonna just use that to clean up and tighten in that nose. Next, I'm going to apply some setting powder. I'm using my Born This Way setting powder. You guys have seen this on my channel for so long. You know I love it. An affordable alternative is the Maybelline setting powder, and you guys can find that at any drugstore. Like, all of them have it. It's a really great setting powder as well. Now, setting my T-zone with my Ben Nye powder. I'm gonna go in nice and heavy underneath the eye. And we're gonna keep this close because once I get to my actual eyes, I'm actually gonna set my eyes as well to give it that smooth finish. And if you're someone who can set and it looks good, go ahead and let that bake a little bit. I'm not into baking. It never comes out looking good for me, so I don't do it. But if you are someone who bakes, go ahead and bake and do your thing, sis, you know? But you want it to look like this nice, smooth finish. Now that we have completed our foundation, our setting powder, we're going to use the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush, and we are going to apply that. Oh, I went a little low. So the trick is you actually don't want to start at the apple of your cheek. You want to start a little higher up, and you want to go up at an angle. Because again, this all lifts the face versus going like really heavily down here. You want to go up at an angle and blend that in nicely. The blush doesn't need to be too heavy for this look, so we're going to just keep it nice and smooth and blend it out. And I'm using my Tati Beauty Blendiful because I think it's the best way to apply a cream blush that you don't have like another applicator for it. Now using my Fenty highlighter in Cinnamon, I am going to apply this right at the apple of my cheeks where that blush is starting. This is another thing that we don't have to go crazy heavily on. And then I'm gonna do the tip of my nose. And in between my brows, I'm using my Sigma highlighter brush. I talk about it in my Sigma unboxing video. And then of course I love to do my Cupid's bow, but not too much because we have a very specific lipstick look that we're going for. But you see how this just lifts my face? Ah, yeah, this foundation routine is it. I'm liking the changes that I've incorporated. I'm loving it. I think this is the way to go. All right, we are all done with our foundation routine. Now we're going to get up close and personal and do the eyes. Like the face, we also want our eyes to be extremely matte. So we're just going to press on some P. Louise base. You can also use your concealer, and we're gonna press that in and let that set for a moment. And I'm gonna get it pretty high up because I am gonna use a transition color, and I want that transition color to have a nice base too. I want everything to almost look the same color. Now this is something I've never done before, but I'm gonna try it. I want this to look matted, but I also want it to look like my skin tone. So I'm actually gonna use some of my Born This Way setting powder and apply that onto the eye with the P. Louise to give it that flesh tone finish instead of doing a eyeshadow. And why? Because sometimes I do the eyeshadow and it comes out too brown and not looking like my skin. And I, again, want my eyes to be as matted as my face. And I am liking this idea. And I'm leaving this area open because that's gonna be the only area that we add some actual eyeshadow. Using my Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly, I'm using the color Burnt Orange. Actually, I'm using the color Raw Sienna, and I'm going to just blend that in to that setting powder. Yeah, Raw Sienna looks too much like my transition color, so I'm going back with Burnt Orange instead. And you want to kind of tilt your head back a little bit and just press it in to your, tap it in and then blend it out in a buffing motion. And this is like, you gotta squint your eye, tilt your head a little bit to tell that you have some makeup on. Like, it's a super natural look. Finally, we're gonna take a little bit of Tempera from that palette and we're just going to highlight the brow. Like, hardly anything at all. But you just always wanna highlight your brow. Okay, let's move on to some eyeliner and lashes. Using my Anastasia by Beverly Hills Black Liquid Eyeliner, I'm gonna start with just making a straight line up. And then I'm going to pull that line down. And I'm gonna stop it right at about a quarter towards the edge of my eye. You do want this to be nice and straight. This is one of the stars of the show, especially since you don't have a lot of eyeshadow on. Next, we're going to pull this down for a dog liner, because that's a cat eye that we started with. This is a dog eyeliner, which I've recently learned all the different names. We're gonna pull it into about the middle there too. We want these edges nice and clean. And I'll probably clean it up with a little concealer. So once that's done, we're gonna go for the infamous fox eye. You're gonna pull it from about the corner from the edge again. And we're gonna pull it down. And you just wanna pull a nice straight line. You wanna pull it just about a quarter, you don't wanna go too far. And you want that inner line to be extremely thin. And voila, we have our cat dog fox. Cat dog fox, okay? Make sure it's connected, clean that up. Make sure it looks like the other eye, okay. That looks great. Now using my Fenty Beauty mascara, I'm gonna use the flat side to really separate everything. And then I'm gonna go with the thicker part, so from the flatter to the thicker side, to really separate everything and elongate my lash. I have on my Lily Ghalichi lash. This is the light mink. Now applying that light mink lash, we want to make sure it gives us that nice curve and lift. Voila! Now a little trick is sometimes when you're just starting out, or even when you've been doing it for a long time, you can mess up your liner. So concealer is what I call the magic glue. You just use a little concealer on a thin brush and you clean it up and let that baby dry. So anywhere that my mascara may have gotten on, give it a moment to dry first. This won't work if it's not dried. And then you just clean it up with a little concealer. And then go back with whatever eyeshadow or setting powder that you use and just place that on top so it's blended in with the rest of your eye makeup. That's the secret. People just clean it up with concealer. That's all it takes. Okay, let's do our lips now. Okay, so for my lips, I'm actually starting with a little bit of my MAC concealer first. Why? Because I want a flat, even base for this amazing lip that I'm about to do. Next, I'm going to use my Juvia's Place Luxe Liner and I'm just going to line my lips. Now I'm gonna do a heavy line that kind of shades in a little bit, but not too much. Next, I'm gonna use my Colored Rain Vanity Rain and I'm going to apply it over that lip liner and all the way across my lips. And I'm gonna leave that center space of my lip empty and you'll see why in a second. I absolutely love this red and it is Black owned, Colored Rain. So if you're looking to support Black owned businesses, that's one that you can add to the list. Lastly, I'm going to use my Juvia's Place Shakira and I am going to use my Morphe lipstick brush and I'm gonna apply it right in the center of the lip because you want it to look really beautifully ombre without interrupting too much of that red. And I'm gonna kind of follow that urge to give myself a nice pretty pout. And that red and that like orange for Shakira kind of starts to blend together a little bit and gives you that nice, gorgeous like pink on the corners, which I love. Woo-hoo! Again, kissable lips, honey. You guys gotta thank me after this date night. Okay, girlies and gents, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this very special date night tutorial. If you did, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified about when I have new videos. Leave a comment below about what you loved about this look the most, and if you decided to try this amazing pink ombre lip. Until next time, bye girlies and gents. Mwah.